Logan Paul is one of the most famous people in the world right now. Everyone knows who he is. And on July 10th, he announced that he, as one of the most eligible bachelors in the world, would be marrying his girlfriend Nina Agdal. She would become his fiancée, and he actually posted his marriage proposal video to Twitter and to YouTube. He cried, like, tears in it, you know, he was sobbing or whatever. She was like,
"Oh my god, I'm glad you filmed it or whatever for your YouTube channel, that's cool."
Around my literally out.
That's kind of cool. That's cool with me.
It was a nice, wholesome moment, you know. I make fun of it a little bit, but despite everything I don't like about Logan, I was happy for it. You know, I think it's nice to see anyone get married, especially today.
Were you at all worried about her reaction to filming such an intimate moment?
I wanted the Logan to get their piece of the cake.
But now Logan's being roasted across the entire internet because of his relationship. Now you may be thinking, wow, Tom, but Nina, she's so beautiful, she's so sexy.
I'm not gonna lie, I was like gonna praise him because, like, you know, I'm all about like trans and like LGBTQ and everything. So I was gonna be like, oh, this is awesome. He like has a fiance that's trans. So I thought
She's like a model. She has all these accolades. Like, she was in Sports Illustrated. She was in Maxim magazine. He got like a 10 out of 10 beautiful princess, okay? What could go wrong? Well, Logan's being roasted because, as it turns out, Nina has been around the block.
14 months ago, I fell in love with the most beautiful human being I've ever seen in my life, and I have been waiting for this day ever since.
It all started because Logan's set to fight Dillon Danis. Is it Danis or Danis?
I wanted you to face off against Diaz after you out of the Danis fight.
Danis. Okay, Dillon Danis. Dillon's like a professional combat sports dude. He competed in Bellator MMA. He's a serious fighter for real, okay? He's a big deal. And he was actually set to fight KSI earlier this year, but he ended up pulling out. I don't really know why. And recently, he was signed to fight Logan Paul officially in October, and it seems like this fight is definitely happening. And keep in mind, Dillon is being trained by Conor McGregor of all people, who is widely regarded as one of the greatest fighters of all time.
What the f is up, you Irish? Good morning, Conor McGregor. I know you're probably beating up old dudes in a bar right now, or maybe you're jacking off because you're sick of your wife. I mean, she's a 4, Conor. You could do a lot better, but happy Monday.
So in early August, this fight gets announced. Hype is generated around it. Influencer boxing is so huge that all the cards and cardettes are like, let's go, yeah, fight, fight, fight. Let there be blood. Myself included.
Throw them in the hot tar pit.
And then Dillon starts talking Logan, but not with his words, okay? Not with his words. Dillon is more creative. He uses pictures. He starts with this picture of Nina Agdal and Leonardo DiCaprio. He's got his arm around her. She's in her sweats. They have like very kind of casual clothing on. Probably safe to assume they were dating at this time, you know, or dating. And this is intended as a slight to Logan.
Like, hey man, haha, she was another dude before you, haha, you get owned.
Logan Paul gets Leo's sloppy seconds. It's kind of like childish. It's kind of like, you know, playground fighting. But I mean, that's just kind of what happens in influencer fights, right? People like to generate hype and publicity through this, through shit talking. And I mean, she's a 30-year-old woman, right? Let's be realistic. She's gonna have dated people. What's the big deal? But then there's another one. And then people start making articles about her long dating history. And it's like guy after guy after guy. No exaggeration, probably about 50 different men she's been seen holding hands with over the past few years. At the very least. She dated Adam Levine of Maroon 5 fame. She dated Joe Jonas from the Jonas Brothers. Some dude named Max George. Jack Brinkley Cook, whoever that is. I assume he's famous to some degree or rich. And then there are other pictures of her holding hands with like 100 other dudes with varying levels of fame that, you know, it's implied that she slept with, right? And this is the perfect thing to stir the pot with because all of the red pill dudes are going to be like, oh, hell no, she ran through AF. She need a good steam cleaning in that pussy. She needs a dry cleaner, deep dish, all-purpose cleaner, super bleach in her gash for all the dick she's had in there. Someone throw Nina Agdal a few Tide Pods, because that pussy's disgusting.
It's disgusting, man. It's fucking disgusting.
And on the other hand, you have all the OnlyFans girls who will be like, she's just living her life. There's nothing wrong with her. Stop shaming her. It's 2023. I hate men so much. Girls like sex too, okay? I love dick. She loves dick. We're like the same now. These are obviously the two sides that are going to have the strongest takes here. And then celebrities, like actual, like famous e-celebrities start getting involved and commenting on how this is just too far. It's too far, guys. Alyssa Violet responds saying, dude, this is up. Are you okay? Way too far. She has literally nothing to do with this. Just beat him in the ring, goddamn. And then Dillon makes this tweet showing how Alyssa Violet had sex with Logan Paul right after dating Jake, which obviously paints her in a bad light and sort of, I'd say it puts her firmly in the Nina Agdal camp of ran through, in the internet's eyes at least. And then FouseyTube, of all people, calls after him, calling him scum. That's his wife. Hate on the man, his character, his looks, etc. But why do you mean his wife? As if we don't all have a past. Not cool, bro. And Dillon responds saying, this coming from the guy who took advantage of a drunk girl who was an emotionally hurt trafficking victim at an airport for a blowjob in the bathroom, then bragged about it on your stream. And what he's saying is not baseless, by the way. Like, I'm pretty sure this did happen recently on a Fousey stream. He had like a whole mental breakdown about it afterwards and tried to lie, saying it didn't go down because his chat was like, bro, why'd you just fuck this girl that was like trafficked in Romania or something? Okay, why'd you just fuck a victim of Andrew Tate? She was straight out of Serbia, bro. You just instantly had to go in there. You're that horny. And then Fousey was like, no, it didn't happen. I'm sorry. I respect sex workers. I used to have a sex addiction.
I'm emphatically such a bad person. I'm such a dickhead. I'm not. I'm a great person.
I can tell.
I saw everything I love. I just showing them my club. It's a prank. It's a prank. It's a prank. No, I didn't do nothing. I swear to God.
And all these people are catching strays because they have a weird past, and they try to say that Dillon's being out of left field. They're like, yo, he's so out of pocket. So obviously he's going to fire back, right? He has nothing to lose from talking back to them. I mean, all he really was doing was tweeting, making fun of Logan Paul and his fiance. That's kind of what influencer boxing is about. Like, to generate hype, you have to have some kind of beef behind it. That's just kind of expected. And he's definitely doing that, right? This is how he gets his bread. And Dillon apparently even tried to get on an episode of Impulsive, which is Logan's podcast, in the lead up to the event, but that podcast invite was declined. I can't imagine why. Meanwhile, the pictures, I mean, they just keep rolling in. I mean, there's hundreds of them, literally hundreds. Logan apparently was pissed at this, and while he's avoided commenting on it publicly, like obviously he doesn't want to say anything, because what would he say? He'd be like, I've made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment. My wife has been ran through. I mean, what could he say realistically? But according to the Happy Punch Twitter account, which I believe is Keemstar's boxing company, he sent a legal threat to Dillon, which is obviously cowardly. Like, dude, you make a living off the internet. Your entire life is in the public eye. Obviously, sometimes people are going to make fun of you for your fiance or whoever else you hang around. It just doesn't make any sense for him to send a legal threat. There's no way he could ever win in court. Like, what was that, for defamation or something? Dillon did not defame anyone. He just made fun of someone's upcoming marriage. And he has a ton of material to do that. So if you don't want that to be the case, you should probably try to marry someone else. And as far as Nina, if you're watching this, which I know you are, I know you're a big fan of the Tom Dark channel, I have a question, okay? How do you do this, okay? How do you pull off this many guys? I mean, I know you're like very attractive, but like this has to be a full-time job of just fucking sucking. I mean, you're built for it apparently. Like, I can't fathom how you can have a job and have money and then be like meeting a new guy every day. It's insane. How do you meet this many people? Is dating her full-time job? Does she get paid for this? I mean, as far as I know, she's not in that line of work, but I guess you never know.
Would make me eggs and bacon, a lot of bacon and sausage, and then after that, you know what happens.
Oh, hello.
Is she drunk? Is she drunk here or something? Like someone drugged. She needs help, guys, okay? I think we need to save her. I think we need to save her from whoever did that made her say these things. And this is like a trend, bro, okay? There's so many clips like this. Why are there so many?
Don't come up with bull reasons. Like, if you're just like, I don't want to you anymore, say that. Only thing better than dessert is sex. I don't really think penises are that pretty, so I prefer you to hide it inside casually.
Look, guys, I think this has kind of turned to like a serious video now. I think we're going to need to save her. We're going to need to send in the SWAT team. Just get her out of there. We're going to put her in quarantine. She needs someone to get her to the hospital. I think she may be carrying various viral diseases from her various sexual escapades. You know, STDs are a serious thing. There's no shame in talking to your doctor about it. You may have hundreds of them, Nina. So if we can get you to the hospital, if we can get you checked out and just get you cleaned out, get you power washed down a little bit. You may have heard of Clorox bleach wipes. They're pretty nice. Though it'll probably hurt on your insides, and it may actually make you infertile, but I mean, at this point, is that such a bad thing? Because whoever the kid is that you would have would probably be very ashamed to find out that you had been with the entire country of Mongolia, okay? Mongolia is still hurting from what you did to their culture, frankly.
I sucked a dick in a football stadium full of people once.
I mean, this one is just trashy. How does that even happen? She has to be lying. There's no way she actually did this in a football stadium. But then again, I mean, you never know. Not Malcolm in the Middle. You know, guys, I'm not one of these red pill guys. I'm not like a trad dude. I don't really care. I don't even care about Nina Agdal and Logan Paul. Like, they're two adults in a relationship and they can do whatever they want. Their past is their past. It's not mine. It's whatever. I'm not like parasocially invested. For someone like Nina who's been in Hollywood for a while, I'm sure she's dated a lot of dudes. And it's not like she's 20. I mean, she's like like 30 years old, so she's had time to have her fun, and now, you know, now she wants to settle down. And what better guy than Logan Paul? Meanwhile, Logan, of course, has also gotten around and been with a lot of girls. That's cool too. You know, there's no moral issue there that I can imagine raising in this scenario. It's all totally harmless, and ultimately, this is just a way for Dillon to generate hype for his fight. It's like wrestling or MMA. The fighters like to talk to each other to generate hype, and it definitely has had me way more interested in this fight as a whole. I knew about this fight, and I was probably gonna watch it before this, but I didn't really care until this beef, and this has definitely raised the stakes way more. Like, Dillon is definitely selling pay-per-views right now, because now it's like there are actual stakes, because if Logan wins, then he redeems himself from the dude who's been shit-talking his wife for weeks on end. By the time the fight happens in October, it could be months on end that he's been shit-talking her, like shit-talking their relationship, making it seem invalid. So if Logan wins, he's like the new underdog champion. He probably has a little bit of a redemption moment, right? But if Dillon wins, then Logan looks like the biggest loser slash of all time, and he just gets totally owned. I think that would be the greatest humiliation of his career. It probably wouldn't kill it, but I don't think he'd ever live it down if that were to be how this happens, right? Now, in the midst of all this, a lot of people have been bringing up some of the other misdeeds that have come from Logan Paul, like his extremely poor treatment of his brother Jake. As I mentioned earlier, Logan did sleep with Jake's ex-girlfriend years ago, and that was pretty messed up. Now, in fairness, one thing to bring up is that I'm pretty sure Jake cheated on her a bunch of times. It's still shitty from Logan's perspective, but it's not like Jake was a total saint in the situation. But it really does seem like at every opportunity, even outside of that, he's really screwing Jake over when it's convenient for him. Like when he said he was mad at Jake because he couldn't bring his Prime bottle into his most recent fight, so he missed out on free advertising. A channel called Too Lazy to Try that I watched compiled some of the best recent clips of this, so credit to his channel for finding these.
Said I would get kicked out if I brought a Prime bottle. Ridiculous, dude. Do you think I would ever ban you from promoting any of your shit at any of my events? That's ridiculous.
Wait, that's because of who the partner, the competing partner was
Marcos
for the event.
Texted us 4 times with stipulations, listed out paragraphs.
Yeah, get over it. Like, and meanwhile,
come on, I'm your brother building a
oh
business.
yeah, you're my brother. What do you mean?
Well,
what do you mean?
well,
you can't
tell me what to wear.
Logan.
Yeah, but if they're paying us, if they're paying us, if they're paying us millions of dollars, and they say, hey, but we don't want this person to be doing this stuff at the event with a competing brand.
That's ridiculous. I couldn't bring in a Prime bottle.
It's hard for me to tell why Logan even brought this up. If he has any self-awareness, then he's not going to say this straight-faced, and obviously not realize that he's clearly asking too much of his brother, who in this scenario does not owe him anything. Like, it's his event, the sponsor says no Prime bottle, just turn off your content brain for 2 hours to go see your family member fight. It's definitely a proud moment for Jake, and I feel like, you know, as his older brother, Logan should just be there supporting him. But instead, he tries to pressure him publicly on his podcast into doing what he wants, and it doesn't really work out. It just makes Logan look shittier in the end.
That's the brands getting involved. I have no say in that. I don't give a fuck. But if they request something and they're paying millions of dollars to be the title sponsor.
But the request is this: your brother can't bring a Prime bottle into the stadium, and if he does, he will be escorted out by security.
You wouldn't be escorted out.
That's ridiculous.
But you have a Prime card coming up soon. Obviously,
so
as
why
you
do you
just
care
said.
so much about
who I see every single day?
At whose event?
An issue with it.
At whose event?
Your event.
Exactly. My event.
I'm your brother.
Yeah, exactly. So respect what's going on at my event.
And I did.
Okay.
I thought it was ridiculous.
Okay, but that's just the name of the game. It's business.
And you have a Prime card coming up. If you walked in with a Celsius headband to it, you probably would say that's unacceptable.
I don't give a fuck. You're getting paid millions of dollars by Celsius. Yeah, they're our competitor, but like, dude, come on. We're all,
but
we're
if you
but
if you request it, if it's different because I'm not in control.
The stadium thing rubbed me the wrong way, but do you get
rightfully
what I'm saying?
Rightfully so, because if there was a #1 sponsor, like let's say Nike was sponsoring the event and was like, "Hey, Logan's gonna be on camera. Can he not wear Adidas?" Then it wouldn't piss you off.
From a business standpoint, that makes sense, Logan. It does. The person that's going to get the most attention in the arena besides Jake is you, showing up to the fight.
My identity is my identity. My
but you
pursuits and passions and businesses.
But you can certainly press pause on it for. You can certainly press pause on it for one night to just support Jake and then walk out.
Yeah,
and I understand that,
and I absolutely will.
And you did.
But do you see what I'm saying? Is anything I'm doing hurting you?
That sometimes, yes, it causes issues because of my brand partner. Yes.
And I'll always be a ride or die, no matter what. But I don't know if I always have to yield and bend my personal ways because we are brothers and that's the sole reason.
But this is exactly what I'm saying. you're literally painting the picture of you are playing both sides.
I
when we're
disagree.
it's when it's convenient
you're
for
making
you.
faulty comparisons.
But when it's convenient for you, we're brothers. But then when it's not, you do the exact opposite of like, but we're completely separate. So like, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do as well.
I'm building a business.
But that's what I'm saying. You play both sides like very well, like extremely well.
I don't. To me, it doesn't feel like I'm playing both sides, and maybe that's why you're saying I do it extremely well, is because that's just the reality of the situation, and people can see that both sides. You're Jake Paul. I'm Logan Paul. We are different people. We have different interests. We have different friends.
But then, like, but even just 15 minutes ago, then all of a sudden you're like, but we're brothers,
and we are brothers. That sentence can end with "and we are brothers." Yes.
But where does that rank? Because sometimes you let it rank down here, and sometimes you want it to be number one when it's convenient for you.
When
Prime can't go into the building, we're brothers. When you want to partner with Dana White and KSI, you're your own entity.
I think when we as brothers no longer become additive to each other, and it feels like you or I are trying to take from one another, and I don't believe I've ever tried to take from you, whereas you, I feel like, have tried to take from me. At least maybe not you, but maybe your team. That's when I feel like it falls apart.
Like this being in Netflix documentary, like millions of views, me starting the documentary saying I'm drinking Prime, me posting about Prime as soon as it launched, carrying it around everywhere with me until I got a deal.
No, and I appreciate all of it.
And Jake talked about it on Aiden Ross's stream as well, where he said he feels like Logan clearly is willing to fuck him over if it will benefit him in the short term, but then he'll like pull the brother card and be like, but we're just brothers, when he thinks that's also convenient or that can benefit him, right?
But I just thought I was just curious about that, because when KSI is running his mouth to you, I'm like, why is Logan not punching him in the face? What the
Yeah, business, I guess, is business. It is weird. It puts me in a weird spot because, like, I don't know how to feel about it. I personally don't like it because it's like, here's this guy that constantly is dragging me down, constantly jumping at every opportunity to pull me down and to defame me and to say anything bad about me. And then my brother's like acting like he's best friends with them. And then even when people ask, like, oh, you know, they asked Logan, like, oh, who would you pick in the fight? And Logan's like, oh, I don't know. That would be tough for me. Like, no, it's really not. Like,
wait.
And
So when you ask,
he eventually says, like, well, I would have to pick Jake, but he plays both sides definitely, and it does get annoying. But it's like, I also respect his hustle as an entrepreneur and as a businessman, because he, you know, created this multi-billion-dollar company now with his enemy, and I can't hate on that. I want my brother to accomplish his goals, and I'm happy for him, and he's so successful and doing amazing, and to me, I'm just proud of him. I'm proud to be related to him. I'm happy for him, but definitely it hurts me sometimes seeing that. For sure.
If Dillon was roasting like literally any other person, then maybe it would be a different story. I think a lot more people would feel bad because it's like, oh, well, Logan's just marrying this girl. Like, who cares what she did in the past? But Logan seems like someone who really does not care about his friends or even his own little brother. He's willing to throw away any person or connection just for some money or step forward in his career. And as a result, people don't really feel bad for him. You know, he's someone who's shit on so many people. He's wronged them so many times. Why would I particularly feel bad for Logan Paul or anyone who hangs out with him, frankly? Jake knows that for sure, and he's his brother, so I would expect him to know as someone who's been closest to him during his entire life. Jake has his own podcast called BS with Jake Paul. It's kind of like his version of Impulsive, I guess you would say. He even has like his two co-hosts who are his less famous friends. And he seems more willing to talk about Logan now and just give his perspective on everything, really. And he talked about how Logan has mistreated him over the years, and it just paints a bad picture. He said when they started out on YouTube, Logan revealed to him that he never respected him or liked him growing up, and only started to like him and respect him when he became a famous adult on his level, which is a crazy thing to say. Like, that's your brother. I feel like there should be some inherent respect there, or just like liking that person because, you know, you grew up with them, you know them better than, you know, pretty much anyone else. Jake even said that he feels like he's at his breaking point with Logan. He doesn't really want to be friends anymore, and now he's just willing to talk about the years of mistreatment he's felt at his hands.
Team, we did this together. We started our YouTube channel together, and basically, like off camera, he was basically like, no, like I never respected you when we were kids, and
yeah, that's fucking terrible.
And like I thought you were a failure and all this shit, and I was just like, so you didn't even like respect me as a brother because I was always there for you and trained for sports with you and played with you in the woods and built forts together, and we were best friends, and I don't know what's going on right now, and now I'm just like lost.
But where's your breaking point? Like,
I think I'm there.
You watched the documentary.
I think I'm there.
You see,
and in the documentary, he was so condescending and still like undermining me the whole entire time. I have always taken the higher road in 2017. Always take the higher road. Always don't try to say my case online.
There's some things you can't even say.
Yeah, and he drops diss track and take higher road. He does it, take higher road, take higher road, take higher road. And
He
like,
fucks your girlfriend.
Yeah, and exactly. And it's like, take higher road. Don't expose that. Oh, now he wants to expose it himself. Okay. But I just don't even perpetuate it.
But it's a pattern. Do you not realize?
Yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying. I think I'm at the breaking point.
Imagine a person
like,
being so
I hate
sociopathic
this
that like they're like, I'm going to tell the world
This
I
is
f***ed
all
my brother's
worth-
girlfriend. Like
Yeah.
that's insane.
So the documentary they're referencing here is this Netflix doc called Jake Paul, the Problem Child. It's from a series called Untold. I haven't seen it yet, but apparently it delves into his life and his relationship with his brother, and it paints him in a more sympathetic light, which, you know, according to him, seeing that documentary kind of made him relive everything from his childhood and really see Logan for who he is. And who Logan is this like kind of selfish, unsympathetic sociopath. I mean, it's one thing to have career ambitions or to treat a few people shitty. That's normal, typically, right? Like a lot of people will wrong someone in their life. That's not atypical. And I don't think Logan should be like canceled for his treatment of Jake. I'm not that personally invested. Who cares? If you like their content, if you like Jake's content, you like his boxing, his wrestling, his podcast, like just watch it. I'm not going to stop you, right? But it's hard not to feel bad for Jake when I see him talk about stuff like this. He really seems like a kind of a victim of his own brother. Some people may not remember, but Logan actually did a diss track against Jake where he bragged about having sex with Alyssa Violet. I mean, this is funny, don't get me wrong. Like I'm not trying to moral F over this, but imagine being in this situation. That's just, I mean, I would fucking feel horrible. Your own brother, anyone would. Coming from your family member too, like that's, I don't know. It's another level. Jake goes into detail on his whole conclusion from everything, which is sort of that Logan was corrupted by money and he doesn't really care about anything else but his own success, and everything else, even his own family, can just kind of get fucked.
What's the takeaway from all like?
The takeaway is don't be famous, and fame and money is the root of all evil, actually, is the takeaway. People get lost.
But you guys are so far past like the...
But when you're so deeply like hurt and traumatized and like you have such a big void of validation, nothing can fill it.
But like you've hit every...
That's why you find the
pinnacle.
Unhappy billionaire.
Based on the crypto zoo thing, I mean, that was kind of clear to me. Logan Paul scammed his fans, for those of you who don't know, and now he's just ignoring it forever. He won't say anything about it. The dude just powers through and is like a totally unfeeling work machine, which on one hand is kind of respectable because it's like, well, you want to be a good businessman, a good content creator. You want to be really famous. Well, on the other, it's like, you really aren't even a real person. You're just like a robot. Recently, Jake won a fight against Nate Diaz, and it was a huge victory. And this clip of Logan Paul, in my opinion, really illustrates how this dude thinks. Like, his brother just won the most anticipated fight of his entire career, probably one of the most anticipated things of his entire life. He had just lost, keep in mind, to Tommy, so this Nate Diaz fight was like his big comeback, and he won against a pretty skilled guy. So it's kind of like, it's just a huge moment, you know? It's a huge moment. Think of a moment in your life that you're proud of, that really, you know, made you feel something, made you feel special. You worked hard for it. It was an accomplishment. Maybe it's graduating high school, maybe it's graduating college, maybe it's like a cool personal achievement, maybe it's your marriage. And meanwhile, your brother, in this case, Jake's brother is Logan Paul. He looks like Patrick Bateman over here, staring at Paul's business card. Totally unfeeling, bored, jealous, envious. He just can't stand the fact that someone is being successful that isn't him. And I hate to do this armchair psychology stuff, like I really don't do this in videos, but just look at this video and tell me that I'm wrong.
Did you see that picture of when you won your fight against Nate Diaz and everybody's cheering? Logan's sitting there. He looks like a super villain.
I didn't think it was real, and I just don't get it. I just can't believe it. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. It's really weird.
If it's not Logan Paul winning, he just doesn't care. I think it's clear that Logan tried to do a sort of PR change of pace after the Japanese forest thing, which for a moment, you know, the Japanese forest thing made him easily the most hated person on YouTube. You know, there were huge videos with millions of views calling him a piece of shit. I think that was the last moment when the entire commentary community, from, you know, I Hate Everything to H3H3 to really everyone under the sun, came together to like shit on one guy. That was the last time I can remember it was like everyone really going after him, you know what I mean? So he did this whole apology where he says, "I've made a severe, continuous lapse in my judgment." He cleans up his act, he does his podcast, which makes him more likable. He diversifies his income, and the hate really subsides from that. He seems like he's a more likable dude who's changed from the ways of his past. He was young and arrogant. Now he's mature, and he's like a cool ass dude, you know? He's moved on. He's not the same guy he was before. Well, for better or for worse, Logan's definitely being himself now. I think that person is just selfish and manipulative and doesn't really care about people at all. He cares about his own success, and for the most part, that's it. And that will get him far. I mean, he will get more famous, he will get more rich, but to what end? Like, what is the light at the end of the tunnel for him? What is the end goal? I think eventually he's probably going to turn around and realize everything he's done to hurt people and regret a lot of it, unless he's just an actual psycho, which, I mean, could be the case, who knows. The final thing Dillon's been tweeting about this is that he has a picture he wants to tweet of Nina Agdal, but he knows if he did, it would apparently end the fight, any engagement, and he may go to jail. So I'll let you guys speculate on what you think that would be. I have my guesses. It's probably, I don't know, Nina naked or something, if I had to guess. I don't know. But it's probably a very compromising photo of Nina Agdal, if I had to guess. And before anyone calls me red-pilled and a woman hater, okay? I think it's fine the girls have sex, okay? I don't care. They can have premarital sex. Whatever. It's not really my concern what girls do with their own private sex life. I don't give a shit, okay? I'm not one of these incel dudes, okay? I'm not an incel, guys. Please, I'm not an incel. I have a girlfriend. Please believe me. But I think Sam Hyde made a pretty good tweet about this where he was like, I'm not saying the girl you marry has to be a virgin, bright-eyed, 18-year-old who's never been with anyone else and only loves you and spent all day inside, like, for the first 18 years of her life preparing for you. She was homeschooled. She wears a sundress, okay? You can see her nipples through it, but she does wear a sundress. She's very tasteful. She makes apple pie very well. She makes lasagna for you every day, okay? She gives you jobs. Like, I'm not saying you need to have like this perfect all-encompassing virgin girl to marry anyone, right? I'm not saying girls can't have any sexual history. I mean, let's be honest, like that person doesn't really exist for most people, especially someone like Logan Paul, who is extremely famous, extremely rich. He's not going to meet some normal, like not ran through chick from the South. He's only going to meet like fucking freaks in Hollywood, obviously. But what I am saying is that whoever you marry probably shouldn't be someone who is all of Hollywood and the NBA. It's probably a bad idea. Yeah. And without further ado, that about wraps up what I have to say. So, Sneeko, play us out.
Did that touch you? No. Well, no. Okay, so let me backtrack. Let me backtrack. I had PTSD about this. Like, I had bad dreams about this for like a week. Maybe 30 to 40
That's
people.
still too many.
People
15,
rotate.
15 couples? Where y'all at? In a ball?
Yeah,
room?
15 couples, 30 balls, yeah. We're in one
You're
room.
in one
It's a small
hotel
room.
room?
It's a small room, yeah. It's not even that. It's like a suite, a hotel suite. Think about the logistics. Like, his head is like under, it's like 6 inches, like his eyebrows are like tickling the bottom, and I have to like move, like go like that so I don't make contact because his eyebrows are like tickling. You feel what I'm saying? I'm like here with it, like I'm trying to not touch his head. He crawled from like underneath, like he like slid in like that, and like
he slid in between your legs.
Between both legs. Yeah.
With your girl out?
Well, yeah, we're standing up. I'm hitting from the back, and then he goes underneath. No. It's a lot. It's a lot. But I think it's something everybody should do just to test.
No!
I know. You know, we've been to 4. I've never fucked somebody else at one of these parties.
And if you liked this video, consider becoming a member. For $5 a month, you get access to exclusive podcasts, unreleased videos, and the members-only Minecraft server. Thanks so much to all of my YouTube members who fund my content.